Big Cheese and the Greyhound podcast. I'm your host, the Greyhound, and to the left of me, the one and the only, the Big Cheese. You were maybe part of it, but I wouldn't.
You shit on it at first, and then now all of a sudden you're drinking kombucha, and I've got kombucha here.
Really? What kind of kombucha are you drinking?
It's called a live ancient mushroom elixir, ginger and turmeric. It's pretty tasty.
Sounds pretty hot. Look at us just doing a podcast, being best buddies, drinking kombucha.
Man, it's surreal.
This is great.
Yeah, so, look at us.
No, but seriously, you kind of turned me on to it, but I think you started me down the path, and then just from seeing, I guess I noticed it with you, and then I would just see other people drinking it, and I finally did a little more research on it, and I found out that it could potentially prevent cancer. So I'm on board.
I've never heard that.
So apparently with kombucha there hasn't been apparently like a ton of studies on it. There's been studies, but not like a ton of studies. So it's a little bit limited, but some believe that it will prevent a few cancers. So I think
who is some believe?
Some people who have done research on it that I do not know the names of.
So, gotcha. Well, you heard it here, folks. Some people believe it cures cancer.
Some people.
That's all the info you need.
I know it's good. Yeah, I mean, I know it's good for your gut. I know it's good for.
Yeah, I don't even think it is, but I think it tastes good. That's where I'm at.
Well, I mean.
And I'm doing carbonation, and it reminds me of alcohol, you know. Some of it does have alcohol in it. This one doesn't, but...
Yeah, so apparently it has similar effects of drinking alcohol, even without it. But you just would have to drink, like, so much of it. I think, like, you would have to drink, like, 10 bottles of it to equal one beer or something like that. Yeah,
that's about right, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, man, I just like that fizz, you know, if you can't have beer, and, you know, it gives you that, and if it's got ginger in it, or turmeric, it gives you that spice and that bubble, so it really kind of feels like you're drinking some hard liquor. And I sound like an alcoholic, but can you tell I miss drinking?
Dude,
yeah,
so
man.
I've been reading more. I'm starting back
that's
on
dangerous.
The book. I know. I just learned to read like 2 weeks ago, but I'm starting back on the whole. I'm trying to read a book a week, so that's what's new with me.
Have you read a page of the book that I gifted you?
I've read 2 pages of that book, but I'm going to read that book. But right now, just because I figured you wouldn't believe me, I'm reading. It's called Lock the Doors.
It's by Jeffrey Epstein.
It's by Vincent Ralph. It's kind of like a thriller horror kind of book.
I got you. I mean, anything based on Jeffrey Epstein, I'm sure is.
I mean,
is that true? Is that what it's based on?
No, it's not based on that at all. I never said anything about Jeffrey Epstein.
Literally, are you sure? I thought you've been like talking to me this whole week, like, dude, yeah, I've been reading this book. It's based on the stuff by Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe not. So yeah, man. Well, you know, I think reading is good for you. It helps me go to sleep, you know, and it allows you to remember how to spell words again that you may have forgot since it's been 10 years since we were in high school.
Yeah, dude. I'm on the whole 1 book a week thing again now, so hopefully I can keep it up.
So you're reading that what genre of book? So that's like science fiction. It sounds like it's like Ghost, right? Ghouls. What is it?
I like science fiction books. I like so I like science fiction type books. I like nonfiction books just in general. If it's like a topic I'm interested in, you know, if it's about a sports athlete I like, or if it's about, I mean, I like, so I'm big into the true crime thing. So like, I like to read true crime books. I like to read fictional crime books as well as like obviously nonfiction true crime books. So that's why one of my favorite fictional authors is John Grisham, which I know that's probably
Yeah, I think.
pretty basic at this point, but dude, I really
Yeah.
like John Grisham books. My mom got me started. Of all people, my mom, she got me started on the John Grisham books. So I
So
like
you're
him, and
taking.
then I'm
Hold
like
on, let
he
me get
pretty
this
much,
started. I got to stop you. So you're taking your mom's book opinions over your best friend's.
dude, dude,
You
my mom,
gotta.
me and my mom we have very similar tastes in books.
Yeah,
Dude, that is probably the one thing we have most in common is like the type of books we like to read. But I like I mean, I like I'm balls deep in all the true crime stuff, just in general. So any type of nonfiction book about, true crime, I'm super into. In fact, I can't quite remember the title of the book. I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not even gonna try, but I'll talk about it in the next episode, I'm sure. But there's a book that came out in 2019, I think. So it's a couple years old, but it's about um, a serial killer who I'm actually wasn't aware of. And it's supposed to be pretty good, so I think that's gonna be the book I'm gonna read next week. So
but you'll
the book
butcher
I'm
the
reading now,
name.
though, it's just I'm not even gonna try it, but because I just can't remember it. But the book I'm reading now, I mean, it's just a fictional, kind of like a
Yeah.
sci-fi horror type book. I, Growing up, I read like all the
Did you say
Goosebump books, so
sci-fi
that was
horror type book?
horror,
Oh, okay.
horror.
Sorry, guys. Sci-fi.
But yeah, growing
Sci-fi
up,
horror.
I read like all the Goosebump books, so
Sci-fi
I
horror
kind of
sounds pretty cool, though. That's the kind of a book I'd be interested in.
yeah, no, that is right up your alley.
That's a good genre of book.
Speaking of sci-fi horrors, how's your love life going?
Anyways, so I gifted Zach a. He said he's into true crime. I gifted Zach an all-time classic in Crime and Punishment about 5 months ago.
Dude, I'm gonna read it.
He's
I
read
promise
two
I'm gonna read it.
pages. All right, you got it because you got to
I'm gonna
read that
read
one.
it.
That's the classic. I mean, it's not necessarily. I'm not going to give too much away here, but it's not for anyone who maybe has read it. It's not like your run of the mill what you see today, like a John Grisham kind of crime crime novel. It's it is fictitious, but it really gets into the mind of not only what it was like for people in Russia at that time, but you just kind of see the desperation that humanity can go to get what they want, and it's just a really cool book, and I'd highly recommend it. I've been on the classic train, similar to Zach, where he said one a week. I was shooting for one a month. Teetered off of that because I read to start the year. I read Crime and Punishment. That was the first one. Then I read, and that's by Fyodor Dostoevsky, so you can go look that up. And then I read War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, another Russian author. Do I need to repeat that book shit again?
No, dude, you're good. You're good.
I have a whole list here. I was going to actually reread 1984 by George Orwell just because it's been so long, but I'm currently reading. Well, I read about 60 pages, and The Brothers Karamazov, also by Fyodor Dostoevsky, also about murder and
Okay,
Russia. So
so
yeah, a lot of it's around that.
if Russia invaded America, whose side would you be on?
USA.
You sure?
I'm positive. I am HIV positive, Zach.
So, Chris, you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Greyhounds Dead Joke of the Week.
Did you just say ladies and gentlemen?
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this podcast.
And?
I'm not trying to offend or assume anyone's gender here. I'm
All they and thems. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, all they and thems.
There we
the
go.
Greyhound's dad joke of the week. Okay, Chris. If April showers bring May flowers, then what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims.
If April showers bring May flowers, they bring what?
They bring pilgrims. Get it? The Mayflower?
Jesus Christ. He's done it again, y'all.
I've done it again. Also, shout out to our soon-to-be sponsor, Dr. Squatch Soap. I don't think they have any sales going on right now, but they do have a brand new 4th of July themed soap that comes in. You can get it in the bar soap and the deodorant, I believe. So,
Zach, you have to hold these people hostage. You have to. You keep saying they're our sponsor. They haven't given us $1. What you have to. This is a message to this Dr. Squatch, if that's your real name. We will refuse to put your soap on the podcast until we get at least $1. So okay. So what if another soap company was tomorrow to say, "Hey, we'll give you guys $10 an episode to have our soap on there"? What of Dr. Squatch then? What of your precious Squatch?
I would decline it because I'm not gonna.
If you decline that offer, I swear to Christ, you'll wake up and all of your bars of soap will be crushed in the bed like the Godfather episode where he sees the horse head laying next to him, but it'll be your Dr. Squatch soap.
Dude, I would straight up decline the offer because I'm not going to betray what I believe in, which is Dr. Squatch Soap.
This is episode Quattro?
Episode Quattro.
And no dinero?
Dude, we're talking big business. It's coming. Relax. Don't worry. We're gonna have a great, long-lasting partnership with all the guys over there.
We need the fans to speak out on this. Tell us what you think. Should we squash the Squatch? You know, us just chasing after Dr. Squatch. He's so special.
We're definitely keeping them.
Give us some damn money. Speaking of doctors, you recently had to go to the doctor.
Yeah, dude. So I finally found my kryptonite. It turns out I am highly allergic to wasp. Like highly allergic. Like super, super, super duper allergic.
And you had a rash break out all over your body, right?
So this is what happened. This was yesterday. So I was going outside to get something for my car. And I walk outside my door and I'm not 2 steps out and I just get attacked. Bro, like they came out of nowhere. They got me on my neck.
Do you remember what your assailants looked like?
They were wasps. 100%.
Like, can you describe what a wasp looks like? I'm not sure I'm familiar. Can you?
I mean, it flies. It has wings. It's yellow and black. This one was yellow and black.
Huh.
But it hit me, and I think it stung me once. It could have stung me a total of 3 times, but I think it was just once. It was kind of hard to tell because I had a couple marks like on my forehead and then like another spot right behind my ear. But I think that was just from like jiu-jitsu earlier that day. But regardless, dude, within an hour of getting stung by this wasp, when I say my entire body was covered in hives, my entire body was covered in hives. So I'll let your imagination run wild on that one. But
ooh,
dude, it happened so fast. And I was swelling up, like my lips were swelling up, my nose like almost completely swole shut. It was weird. It was like, I mean, this is gonna sound gross, but it was like I had a booger in my nose, but it wasn't a booger. It was my nose just swollen shut, essentially.
Yeah.
And dude, if anyone knows me, man, I do not go to the doctor unless I absolutely have to. I'm getting the hives, and I'm getting swollen, like in my nose, my nostrils are closing up, and I've got the hives, and I got the sting, and so that at that point we go again. This is all honestly. This is less than an hour after the sting. Like this is all this happens for real probably 40 minutes after the sting, and then that's the point where we decide, hey, we're gonna go to urgent care. And the reason why we chose to go to urgent care was because there's one like right by my house, like 3 minutes up the road. So we go to the urgent care and we pull up, we go inside the urgent care, and probably about the time that we pulled out of my driveway, I was starting to, I don't want to say my throat was closing up. It was more.
It was just tight.
Like something was going weird with like me swallowing.
Yeah, I mean that's
but
what it means.
It didn't feel. Well, apparently that is what it means, but I didn't know it because it didn't. I didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like my throat was closing up, but it felt like something was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it was a weird feeling. But we go to the urgent care and we walk in, and as soon as we walk in, the front desk lady's like, "Hey, how can I help you?" My wife's taking me, by the way, and she's just like, "Hey, he's having a severe allergic reaction to a wasp sting. It's super bad. This is less than an hour in, and he's breaking out all over his body. He's swelling up. It's bad." And dude, it was bad.
It looked nasty.
Dude, did you picture that in your head?
Yeah, dude. Reluctantly, but yeah, I did.
You get my drift, okay. Well, anyway, so the front desk lady's like, "Hey, how can we help you?" And my wife's like, "He's having a severe allergic reaction, et cetera, et cetera." And she's like, "Well, we're closed. We closed 5 minutes ago."
That's
we're
that good health care we got here.
Yeah, I mean, and like she says this, then because my wife's walked a little ahead of me. I'm like kind of walking more up to the desk now where she can get like a better view of me. And it's almost like she says that, then she sees me get closer and she can see that, dude, like, this is this is bad. Yeah, like I mean, look on her face, you can just be like, "Oh, yeah, something's wrong with him." And so she's like, hold up one second." She goes like behind the counter, like through a doorway, poking her head through a doorway, and you can hear she's talking to somebody. It's the doctor, I'm assuming. Has to be. And she's like, "Hey, this guy's here, et cetera, et cetera. What should we do? What should we do? I know we're closed, but like, something's wrong with this guy." And the doctor, who would not even come out to like put eyes on me to make sure that I'm okay, just is like refers me to go 30 minutes to another urgent care. And I mean, I'm just like, whatever. So we bounce. And luckily, like, we were able to get to an ER, but I mean, just think about that for a second. I'm not trying to, throw a pity party here, but I was having a severe allergic reaction, and a doctor, because they closed 5 minutes ago, wouldn't step out to just put eyeballs on me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that goes against their oath, but
yeah, I mean,
you know how that goes.
I'm not trying to make a big deal about it. Mama didn't raise no bitch, but I thought that was pretty fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah, well.
So anyway, dude, we get we go back out to the car. We're leaving. I mean, we don't have time to be upset at this person because I mean we're trying to get this under control. When I get back to the car, that's when I start throwing up. Like I don't get back in the car. That's when I'm like throwing up. But I didn't really throw up like a ton of throw up. It was more of like just it's almost like I'm spitting up saliva kind of thing.
Yeah, like dry heaving.
So then so then my wife, she goes back in there and she's like, "Hey, like he's throwing up now. Like this is bad. Do you at least have something, a bag you can throw up in?" So they gave me a bag. We go to the emergency room. They got me back super fast. And like, dude, the emergency room doctors, they were like, "Oh my God, like this is insane." They were like, "Did you know you were allergic to wasps?" And I was like, "Dude, I had no idea. I had no idea I was allergic to wasps. Like it's bad. It's all over me." They're like, they're not freaking out because I mean I'm sure they see crazy stuff all the time, but they're like, dude, this is super, super bad. Long story short, they gave me all kind of stuff. So I found out I'm highly, highly allergic to wasp, and so I got to carry an EpiPen now. But
yeah, man, being
other than that, I'm fine.
I have EpiPens. I don't even carry them, which is, mine's more related around food, but I'm sure I'm allergic to all that as well. I mean, I'm allergic to bees to a certain extent, but when it has stung me, it's just made my hand swell, or wherever it bit me, just like, if it bit me on my thumb, like my whole thumb and fingers might swell, maybe a little up my wrist, but it's not gonna really be like my whole body.
Again, dude, not trying to cry about it, but in my opinion, dude, I think it's pretty messed up the way that urgent care handled the situation.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Like, if you're a doctor, you're gonna not, and I'm definitely not mad at the receptionist, because I mean she
tried.
is telling us we're closed. She sees me, and I mean she can see with her eyes that it's so bad. She needs to go like get with the doctor and be like, hey, you do not just want to take a look at this dude. And
yeah, man, that's really bad. I mean,
it's just messed up, dude.
Yeah, I forget what their oath is called. Dude,
dude, could you imagine if I had went into an urgent care like this on Tillman's Corner?
Oh my God!
It probably would have just been way worse. It would have been way worse. I probably wouldn't have made it out there alive.
They might have,
they may have like through another wall.
They might not have even looked to see what the problem was. They might have just automatically assumed you were overdosing. So they might have just automatically gave you some. Probably. They probably would have just immediately tried to give you Narcan.
Yeah, probably
for overdosing.
Methamphetamine overdose.
Yeah, meth or like heroin or something. They would have been like, "Oh, stick him with the Narcan," like immediately, and then you're like, "What? I don't," and then it would be too late. But yeah, man. Tillman's Corner, what a place.
What a place.
Yeah,
that's God's country.
God's country. If anybody's familiar with the area, first off, I'm sorry. Second, I did work in Tillman's Corner for a few years. I worked as a bank teller, and I have a multitude of stories related to that city and all its glory and all the inhabitants and creatures, because some of them are creatures in that city. And for example, sure. I'm working the drive-through, and this was an every week thing. These are just the ones that stick out in my mind. But every week there's some sort of insanity that goes down to where we have to call the cops just to paint a picture. It's in front of a Walmart. Said bank I worked at. We'll call it the Cock. And yeah, that's where I worked, and it was right out in front of the Walmart next to a Ruby Tuesdays, and where you could used to get a decent meal. You can no longer, but I am working there, and then I'm looking out the drive-through window, and right across from me there's a patch of grass we refer to as the grassy knoll, where some of the creatures there used to be a shady tree, and they would sit underneath the shady tree at the grassy knoll and wiggle around like spiders from whatever drugs they were tweaking on. And so that was entertaining to watch on a slow day. You could just look outside and wonder, it would be better if they weren't doing that, because we called the cops on them. We had to call the cops on them because they would start flipping off customers for no reason. They're on drugs and they're over there doing their own thing, and then they catch a customer looking at them because they're 10 feet away, so they're just double birded. And then,
Man,
peeing in the grassy knoll.
What a place.
Yeah, what a place. One day I'm working that drive-through, just for one example. Woman comes around, horrified look on her face. And she gets to the window. Before I can even turn on my mic, she's screaming. And she's like trying to tap on the window. So I turn on the mic. I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. Like, something wrong?" And she's like, "There's a man. He is peeing on your building." And I'm like, like for me, that's a Tuesday. So I'm like, yes, ma'am. Sorry about that. I will get somebody to come get Fred. Like I know his name. So I just turn off my mic, turn around to my manager. I'm like, hey, we got a guy pissing on the building again. We got to call the cops. She's like, oh, great. Let me call them. I turn back around. The woman's face is still in horror. She's still tapping on the window. And she's screaming at me, though. And she's like, I'm like, yes, ma'am, can I help you? She's like, do something. I'm like, well, I got my manager to call the cops. She's like, no, you do something. And I'm like,
Was she on drugs?
no, she was just a really very entitled rich white woman. And so,
Karen, a Karen.
yeah, she was very much a Karen. And so she's like, no, you do something. And I was like, ma'am, I'm not walking outside to make this guy put his dick back in his pants. Like, I'm not getting near the guy. And the cops probably didn't either. Actually, I know they didn't because usually when it's kind of a hit and run, he hikes his leg on the building and then he kind of runs off, marks his territory, it's done. But they probably didn't even get him that day. But and I can't remember if that was the homeless guy that he would kind of wheel his wheelchair. Really sad, but he would wheel his wheelchair through the parking lot. But sometimes he did have the ability to stand up. And I think it was really, looking back, I think it was an act of courage. If you think about it, he stands up out of his wheelchair. He's wheelchair bound, yet he manages the strength to stand up out of that wheelchair and take a piss on the building. I think that was kind of a courageous act. But looking back on it now, maybe I was the villain in the story. One of our regulars, he would come and sit in the drive-through lane and proceed to pop tops of either a 6-pack of Natural Light or a 4-pack 16-ounce of Steel Reserve. And, for bang for your buck, they get it. Steel Reserve is actually the throwaways of Bud Light, made by the same company. But yeah, this guy, he would come, he would pull out some.
I don't like Bud Light either.
Yeah, Bud Light's horrible. Everybody besides white trash like it. No.
Besides my dad.
Yeah, but this guy, he'd come and he'd pop the tops. He'd pull some money out of the ATM somehow, walk across to Walmart or to the gas station, come back with the beer, and then instead of going to a park bench or the grassy knoll, he decided to sit on the other side of the ATM in our drive-through lane where cars come. So I would get on my little microphone and I would say, excuse me, sir. Sir? And he would start looking up at the heavens like God was speaking to him.
Jesus, is that you?
And I would say, I am he. No, yes, I would say, leave your money on the curb and depart from this place. No, but I'd have to walk outside and tell him, like, hey, this isn't going to work. You're going to get hit by a car. And then he would proceed to tell me that in a very drunken language that he was a veteran, which is sad. But he says, I was a veteran. I've done this for 30 some years, and I'm like, man, you have not been popping tops in this drive-through for 30 years, but no less, I got to send you off. And it's just a regular occurrence of things like that. A woman pissed in our bushes outside after we wouldn't let her use our bathroom. She says, one moment. And she walks outside, spreads her legs. She had on a long dress, spreads her long dress, slightly bends her knees. It was kind of, it was erotic to watch. And she spreads her legs, bends her knees, and then just proceeds to kind of pee standing up. And then she just walks right back into the bank, leaving a little trail so you could kind of find her. That's the world we live in.
That's Tillman's Corner, dude. That is Tillman's Corner.
Oh yeah, dude. It was a new adventure every day. Had a man, and there's just a lot of mental illness problems probably in that area. A lot of homeless problems. They cut down the woods across from that to build more Whataburgers, so that's understandable. We could just cut down their home. But they referred to it as the homeless forest, and they lived in tents. they were just actually living off the grid. You know, that was all they were really trying to do. Heard is people were leaving the stadium seats during the Israel Adesanya fight.
Yeah, because that fight sucked.
The fight sucked. I'm with Cejudo on this. They've got to stop pushing him, man. That's like three fights in a row that have been a complete snooze fest.
Dude, it's
at a certain point, you know, I'm no championship fighter, and I know he's probably trying to do some risk mitigation, not trying to take a lot of damage, especially if he has to fight Pereira next, who has knocked him out twice.
Dude, that can't be the main event.
It can't be the main event. Not at all.
I mean, that's bad, dude. Like, what saves him, man, is he has a couple really nice knockouts.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, man, more times than not, he's in a boring fight. Like the Paulo Costa knockout, that's his best knockout.
That and Whitaker.
In the UFC.
Okay. Yeah, Whitaker won.
Yeah, that one was that one and Whitaker were really good. The Kevin Gastelum fight was super dope, dude. But I think that's just because Kevin Gastelum bit down in the mouthpiece and made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, he.
Like Izzy had. No
Izzy
choice,
does like to counter, but at a certain point, I just feel like if you're gonna.
Dude, he just wants to.
He wants to stand at range and throw some leg kicks. Leg kicks hurt, man. But like, you know,
for sure, dude.
If you're not like the amount of damage done is so little.
You can't. Dude, say what you want to say about Conor McGregor, dude. He talked all that shit. Name the last boring Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He's at least gonna go for it, dude.
Well, I mean, you know.
You can hate it, you can love him, you can hate him, but like, dude, like when he says, "I'm gonna go out there and knock you out," he goes out there and tries to knock you out. Like Izzy's going out there talking all this crap, how he's gonna knock all these dudes out, and then
you can't walk out to that walkout, you know
dude, he's talking the talking
with the urn.
Yeah, dude. UFC 276 like was a super great card on paper, and it just didn't live up to it. You know, the O'Malley fight went DQ IPO, which who knows, man, how bad his eye really was, but it was. I've definitely seen way worse.
Yeah, who really knows what was going on?
Maybe
I don't buy Sugar's bullshit. But
only he
saying that Pedro was scared or something. I really. I see it's weird that he didn't take the 5 minutes, but who knows what was going on?
And that's what I'm saying, dude, is like, it looked like a slight.
But that's two Sugar fights that
we've seen way worse. That's not.
No, that one's not on him. That one's not on him. But
I mean, dude, I'm telling you, dude, you could easily see how if you were Sugar, dude, you could easily it's not crazy for him to think that he thought that he was about
Sugar landed a couple shots, but like they weren't.
Well, dude, right before that eye poke, he landed probably the cleanest.
Yeah, but it was like one of the only shots of the night. I mean, of the fight. I mean, it was a lot. It was very reminiscent of like the Izzy fight to me. Like, and Sean does that, I think, a little too, but like not.
I don't know.
Because he's trying to stay at range.
I think he checked over half them leg kicks at least, and Pedro literally didn't hit him in the head one time. I don't even think he landed a body shot.
You sure about that?
So Pedro threw a bunch of leg. Yeah, that's the UFC numbers said that he didn't land a single body shot. I'm pretty sure body shot, and he didn't even touch him in the head. So you're throwing a bunch. He threw I think they say he threw like 22 leg kicks, 20 something leg kicks. I think he checked over half them.
Yeah, I mean, total strikes are 26 for Pedro, and they should just run it back, man. I mean, there's no sense in arguing. It's 26 total for officially, 26 total for Pedro, 25 for O'Malley. O'Malley threw 47, Pedro threw 41. So, I mean.
Okay, so Pedro landed 20, how many
26
strikes?
25. So, I mean.
Okay, so how many of them, if he checked half them kicks, they still count that as a strike. If he checked half them kicks.
Yeah, I mean, they should just run it back, I mean.
Would you rather? Would you rather be in jail for a
Who
decade,
know?
or be in a coma?
Coma, too pretty for jail.
Dude, I'd be in a jail all day long, dude. If you're in a coma for a decade, I mean, you're not even living.
But you don't know that.
Being in a jail might suck.
Yeah, really, it literally might suck.
I think it's better than being in a
literally
coma.
might suck, Zach.
I mean, dude, it's better than being in a coma. Yeah.
So you would rather
Yeah, for sure.
be in a
Gotta be.
sucky jail. I don't know, man.
Than a coma, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it would suck to miss out. 10 years is a long, long time, but yeah. And when you wake up, you're gonna be like,
you're getting some type of life. If you're in jail, it's jail, but it's
so I have the option to run away.
So
I got to go to jail.
But all right, well, I guess that's about it for today's show. Do you got anything else for the people back home?
Nah, man, appreciate y'all support. Y'all keep tuning in, and we'll keep delivering quality podcasts to you all. So thank you so much, and Daddy loves you.
Mm-hmm.